Hello and welcome to Tracy Mommy Reads. I am back again with another video. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the book It's One of Us by J.T. Ellison. It's One of Us. This is the book that I mentioned in my last video. Well, I didn't mention it by the title, but I did mention that I read it while we were on vacation in Europe. I started reading it when we were on the train. I had a little bit of time when we were in the hotel and I finished it up. I think when we were on the plane headed back. So, yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised by this book. I mean, obviously the blurb is what pulled me into it. But I was like, because it was a toss up between this one and another one. And I'm very glad that I took this one with me. So it is in the mystery suspense genre, because there's like marriage and family involved. I'm wondering if it should be more in the domestic suspense category. But let me just tell you what it's briefly about. And let me just take a sidebar here. I would like to say that, I mean, as people who have, been watching my videos and following me since I started the channel or whatever, I get really excited when I start talking about books. Like when I am telling you guys about these books, a lot of times it's like I'm telling you a story about somebody that I know. I remember telling my husband about a book one time and he said, "Who are these people?" And I was like, "Oh, this is about a book." He thought it was like somebody that I actually knew. So I know that I get a little excited and a little overzealous. And when I first started the channel, I feel like I may have divulged too much. But whenever I feel like I'm giving away a major plot point, which I try not to do, and if I've ever done that, I probably can count on one hand. And I always like give a notice that, at the top of the video, hey, spoilers contained, or, I'll put a thing, hey, a spoiler is coming. So if people want to fast forward. But a lot of the stuff that I talk about, it comes directly from the blurb. Some of these blurbs, you would think just like with movie trailers that they give the whole book away. But there's always the thing that you didn't know about. Even if I told you like the whole book, and I left out one part of it, like who did it or how they did it, that is still a major thing. And it's like, I haven't really given the book away, right? But, it was brought to my attention that perhaps I've done that before. And if I have, my apologies. But with this particular book, I'm not going to do that because the whole story is pretty much in the blurb with some key exceptions. There's a big twist, right? So what it's about, there's this married couple, Olivia and Park, and he's like a professor and a ghostwriter. He writes novels for other people. She's an interior designer, and they, they're moderately middle class and they do pretty well. They are at the point of their marriage where they are trying to have a child, and it's not going so well. Well, one day they get, a visitor. Somebody knocks on the door. It's the police. There's been a murder. This woman's been found dead, and they she was missing for a while, and then they found her body or whatever, and they found some DNA. And, at first it's like, okay, are you trying to say Park is a murderer? Olivia's like, my husband did not kill anybody. Like, he's not that kind of man. They're like, oh, no, we don't think it was him. We think it was his son. Well, the problem is, like, Olivia and Park don't have any kids. And as we learn from the blurb, which I will read to you right now. So, DNA results show that the prime suspect in a murder investigation is Park's son. Okay? And like I said, Olivia's like, no, it's not my husband, So she's relieved knowing that this all has to be a mistake because we don't have any kids either. Well, it comes out. Right here it says, then comes a confession. Many years ago, Park donated sperm to a clinic. He has no idea how many times it was sold or how many children he has sired. So, that to me is what made me go, I mean, because think about it. Like, somebody with your DNA who you don't know, you have never met them. You don't know what they look like. They become the primary suspect in a murder investigation. And it's like, okay, that could be one of my kids. Because when they did the DNA, I guess for whatever markers they checked, they determined that, no, it's your son. And from there, things just get kind of crazy, because just imagine, like I said, you know, and again, per the blurb, Olivia is having problems conceiving. And to think that, you know, let's just skip the part about the person being a murderer for a moment. But okay, this man has kids for somebody else. And I mean, and technically it wasn't a traditional type conception, but still it's a really hard pill for Olivia to swallow. And then as the book goes on and you start to learn how many kids maybe he has, you know, it really becomes something that Olivia doesn't know if she can live with. There are just so many moving pieces to this. There ends up being another body, and we find out that there's a pattern here, you know, how these women are connected, right? Then so that's the police investigation piece, right? They're investigating what's going on here. They found this DNA. It's the same DNA. It's tying them to Park and Olivia, well, specifically Park. Then there's another piece where there's this girl named Scarlett who has started a group for kids like herself, because she's very aware her mom, you know, went to a clinic or whatever to get pregnant. But she's starting to have this longing for a father. So she connects with other kids who have, you know, whose mothers have done a similar thing. And they become friends and start chatting. And everybody's just wrapped up into this whole thing. And that's kind of where the title comes from, because in the group that Scarlett is in, she makes a comment, because quite a few of the kids in the group, they also are here because of Park's donation, right? So somebody says in the group that when they find out that, oh, you know, somebody connected to Park, one of his, you know, kids from the sperm donation could be the killer, somebody says, oh my God, it's one of us. So that's kind of where the title comes from. But then you throw in Scarlett's mom, Darby, and she's a part of a group. The way that the author seamlessly pieces together this story and gives us enough dots for us to make the connection until we get to the end and find out what really happened and how all these people are connected. I haven't read a story like that in quite a while. It was really, really clever, kept me engaged. The only reason why I didn't like devour this book in one day is because I was on vacation. You know, I had to put the book down so that we can go and do stuff. And, you know, as I was reading and as things were coming, you know, unfolding, I mean, and even from the jump, you know, when they said that this person of interest is Park's son, it made me think, because there was two things going on here. One, it was like the sperm bank, like they were doing some illegal shit, because apparently you can only use those samples or those donations for like up to so many women or so many, you know, people who come in and ask for them, and then you're supposed to dispose of the rest and not just keep using the same, you know, thing. But how do you know if they are or if they aren't, you know, because you sign a waiver and you read the things and that's what they're telling you. So I guess it's all on an honor system at that point. And then on the other side of that, if you're a recipient, you're getting information, again, from the same sperm bank who actually got it from the donor, that, you know, they fit all this criteria. They, you know, don't have any diseases in their family. They don't have any mental illness. They have a high IQ. They come from a certain lineage, you know, and things like that, because that's a lot of times the only thing that these women who are, you know, making a selection, that's all they have to go on. They don't see the person. They don't know the person. They don't have a relationship with them. So they have to look at what the clinic has laid out. And again, what the information the clinic has got from the person. So if everybody's lying and nobody's doing what they're supposed to do, you don't know what kind of baby or what kind of, or how many babies are going to come into the world using that person's DNA, you know, and that's what happened here. It was just a whole like clusterfuck, if you will, because everybody pretty much dropped the ball. There were things that were omitted and not shared that could have made Park not an acceptable candidate. And now here we are, everybody's having to live with the consequences of this 20 years later. So I just thought that piece of it was interesting, because I get, like, even in real life, you know, there are probably women for a variety of reasons. Number one, maybe they just haven't met the person that they want to share life with or have a family with, and maybe their time is running out, so to speak, biologically. Then maybe you have lesbian couples, you know, or two like women in a relationship, or you know, who were born women, whatever, who can't reproduce without having that male sperm. So they go to one of those clinics to start their family. You know, so, or maybe there could even be a situation where there's a male and female couple who just can't get pregnant, and maybe it's the male's issue and they decide to do something like that. So it's all various reasons why someone would use a clinic like that. I totally understand that, but it's just unfortunate that you're at the mercy of the clinic and of the donor, that they have been transparent in everything that's going on. Otherwise, that can turn out to be like really bad. And not only that, you know, in the book, like I said, Scarlett, one of the children who was conceived using Park's donation, she got to a point where she wanted an actual father figure in her life. And he had signed away his rights. He didn't want to know anything about, you know, whatever kids came from it. He didn't ever want to meet them or anything like that, is what he, you know, said. So, like, is it fair to go to this person now and be like, oh, I'm your daughter? Like, because are you really? Like, here you are, you're like a whole teenager. This person doesn't know you, you know? So biology and how all that works, and when you start getting with human emotions and feelings, it's a recipe for just disaster in some cases. And just so much was going on in this book with regards to that. And at the core of it, while you had all these issues going on, we're still trying to figure out what happened to the woman, you know, and which one of the kids, and why did they do it? And that is the part, like I said, when it gets to that twist, I never saw that coming. Even going back, it was like, but it was plausible. You know what I mean? It was plausible, but there were never any breadcrumbs or anything that you can go back and go, oh, I didn't even see that coming, or I missed that. But it, like I said, it was totally plausible. So she really got me. Like, it was a mouth hanging open type moment for me when I realized what was going on and who had done what, you know, in the book. So that's what I really liked about it. The unexpectedness of that twist, you know. And to be honest, I didn't even realize there was going to be a twist, because it's like, I feel like once they found the killer, I mean, it was obvious that person was the killer, and it was just a matter of finding that person, right? So when they find the person, you're thinking, oh, well, this is done. But then as that person's taking a last breath or two, they make a comment and kind of turns everything on its head. So yeah, it's just been a while since I've read something that caught me off guard the way that this did. What I didn't like, I'm trying to think, you know, me and endings, but I feel it ended the way that it probably should have ended. There was just one little thing I was, you know, curious about at the end, especially given that we know, because there are kids out there, that Park, you know, that he wasn't the problem necessarily with him and Olivia having kids. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I just thought that something that happened at the very end, like an epilogue, I thought it was very interesting that the author chose to do that. But, you know, that could be karma. Maybe that's why she chose to do that. Or again, another full circle moment. You know, and I know it sounds crazy that I'm saying stuff because I'm trying not to spoil anything for you guys. But if you like, you know, books that have domestic issues where like maybe a couple is going through something, there's family drama, but then there's also this like mystery and murder thing going on that the police are involved and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And then, you know, other issues that may pose moral, you know, or religious, moral or ethical dilemmas. I mean, it covers all of that. It's One of Us by J.T. Ellison covers all of that. So you should definitely check it out if those are things that interest you. Thank you so much for watching. If you have read It's One of Us by J.T. Ellison, I would love to know your thoughts. What did you think about that twist? Put it in the comments. Let me know. And make sure that you like this video. And for those of you who are not a part of the 1,000 subscriber club, what are y'all waiting on? Go ahead and subscribe to my channel right now and be sure that you share this video with someone who you think might enjoy it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day and I will see you next week. Bye.